You know, there's something about 3 a.m. that feels almost mysterious, doesn't it? One moment, you're peacefully asleep, and the next, your eyes snap open, the house is silent, and the clock glows back at you with those frustrating numbers. 3 a.m. And no matter how hard you try, falling back asleep feels impossible. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. So many of us over 60 find ourselves wide awake in the middle of the night, wondering why our sleep isn't what it used to be. But here's the good news. It's not just getting older. There are real fixable reasons why this happens, and today we're going to uncover them together. You see, sleep doctors have spent years studying why seniors wake up at 3 a.m., and what they've found might surprise you. It's not just about needing less sleep as we age, it's about changes in our bodies, our habits, and even the way our brains process rest. The best part? Small adjustments can make a big difference. So if you're tired of staring at the ceiling in the middle of the night, stick with me. By the end of this, you'll have simple, practical ways to reclaim those precious hours of sleep. Now, let's start with one of the biggest culprits, something you might not even realize is affecting you. As we get older, our bodies produce less melatonin, the hormone that tells us when it's time to sleep. Think of it like a dimmer switch slowly turning down, except instead of lights, it's your natural sleep signals. That's why you might feel tired earlier in the evening, only to wake up hours later, fully alert. But here's the thing. Melatonin isn't the only factor. The way we spend our evenings plays a huge role too. Have you ever noticed how a bright screen, whether it's the TV, your phone, or even a tablet, can make it harder to wind down? That's because artificial light tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime, shutting down melatonin production even further. So if you're scrolling through emails or watching the late news in bed, your body might be getting mixed signals. Now I know what you're thinking. I've done this for years, and it never used to be a problem. And you're right. Our bodies change. What worked at 50 might not work at 65. But the fix is easier than you'd think. Try dimming the lights an hour before bed, swapping screen time for a book or soft music, and see if that helps your brain ease into sleep mode. And while we're on the topic of evening habits, let's talk about something else that might be keeping you up: what you eat and drink before bed. That cup of tea or small snack might feel comforting, but if it has caffeine, yes, even decaf has a little, or sugar, it could be the reason you're wide awake at 3 a.m. But it's not just about avoiding certain things. It's about adding the right ones. A light, protein-rich snack, like a small handful of nuts or a bit of yogurt, can actually help stabilize your blood sugar through the night. Because here's something sleep doctors don't always mention. Drops in blood sugar can wake you up, leaving you restless and unable to drift back off. Now, before we move on, let's talk about one more surprising reason you might be waking up: your bedroom itself. Temperature, noise, even the firmness of your pillow can play a bigger role than you'd think. But don't worry, we'll dive deeper into that next time, along with more simple fixes you can start tonight. So for now, try this. Dim the lights earlier, rethink that evening snack, and see if small changes make a difference. Because sleep shouldn't be a mystery. It should be restful, rejuvenating, and yours to enjoy. And trust me, the best is yet to come. You know, sometimes the smallest things can have the biggest impact on our sleep, like the temperature of your bedroom. Have you ever noticed how much harder it is to fall asleep on a hot, stuffy night? Or how you toss and turn when your feet are cold? It turns out, our bodies are pretty particular about temperature, especially as we get older. Sleep experts say the ideal temperature for sleeping is around 65 degrees Fahrenheit, cool enough to help your body settle into deep, restful sleep, but not so cold that you're shivering under the blankets. Now, you might be thinking, 65 degrees? That's too chilly for me. And that's okay. The key is finding what works for you. Maybe it's cracking a window, using a fan, or switching to lighter blankets. The goal is to keep your body from overheating, because when we get too warm, we tend to wake up more often, sometimes right around that dreaded 3 a.m. mark. But temperature isn't the only silent sleep stealer in your bedroom. Let's talk about noise. Maybe you've always been a light sleeper, or maybe you've noticed sounds bother you more than they used to. A ticking clock, a distant car, even your partner's snoring. As we age, our sleep becomes more fragile, and sudden noises can jolt us awake more easily. Now, you don't need to soundproof your whole house to fix this. Something as simple as a white noise machine, or even a fan running in the background, can help mask those little disturbances. If you don't have one, try a free app on your phone or tablet. Just keep the screen face down so the light doesn't bother you. The steady, gentle hum can make a world of difference in keeping you asleep through the night. And while we're talking about your sleep environment, let's not forget about light. Even tiny amounts, the glow from a street lamp, the standby light on your TV, or the early morning sun peeking through the curtains, can trick your brain into thinking it's time to wake up. That's why blackout curtains are a game changer for so many people. If you don't have them, try an eye mask. It might feel strange at first, but after a few nights, your brain will learn that darkness means sleep, not 3 a.m. alertness. Now, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about something that might surprise you, your daytime habits. Because believe it or not, what you do during the day has a huge effect on how you sleep at night. Take napping, for example. A short power nap can be refreshing, but if you're dozing off for an hour or two in the afternoon, your body might not be tired enough when bedtime rolls around. Sleep doctors call this sleep pressure, the natural buildup of tiredness that helps us fall asleep and stay asleep. If you nap too long or too late in the day, you're releasing that pressure, like letting air out of a balloon. So if you do nap, try keeping it to 20 or 30 minutes, ideally before 2 or 3 p.m. That way, you still get a little rest without sabotaging your night. And here's another daytime habit that might be working against you: not moving enough. Now, I'm not saying you need to run a marathon, far from it. But gentle movement, like a daily walk, some light stretching, or even gardening, helps regulate your body's natural sleep-wake cycle. It's like giving your internal clock a clear signal. Daytime is for activity. Nighttime is for rest. The trick is timing. Exercising too close to bedtime can actually make it harder to fall asleep, so try to get your movement in earlier in the day. Even just 10 or 15 minutes of walking in the morning sunlight can help set your rhythm. Now, all of these adjustments, temperature, noise, light, napping, movement, they're like pieces of a puzzle. When you start putting them together, you'll notice small improvements. Maybe you'll wake up less often or fall back asleep more easily when you do. But there's one more big piece we haven't talked about yet, something that affects not just your sleep, but your overall health. You know, one of the most overlooked reasons we wake up at night, especially as we get older, doesn't start in the bedroom at all. It begins with stress. Not the kind that makes your heart race in the moment, but the quiet, lingering worries that follow you to bed. Maybe it's thoughts about family, health, finances, or just the general weight of tomorrow's to-do list. And here's the tricky part. Even if you think you've put those concerns aside, your body might still be holding on to tension without you realizing it. Sleep doctors call this hyperarousal, when your nervous system stays just alert enough to interrupt deep sleep. That's why you might wake up at 3 a.m. with your mind suddenly racing, even if nothing's wrong. The good news? There are simple ways to dial down that stress response before bed. Try this tonight. Spend just 5 minutes writing down anything on your mind, tasks, worries, even random thoughts, on a notepad by your bed. It sounds almost too easy, but research shows this act alone can signal to your brain, "We'll handle this tomorrow," so you're not subconsciously problem-solving all night. Another powerful tool? Deep breathing. Not the quick, shallow breaths we often take when stressed, but slow, deliberate belly breaths. Here's how. Lie comfortably, place one hand on your stomach, and inhale deeply through your nose for 4 counts, feeling your belly rise. Hold for 2 counts, then exhale slowly for 6 counts. Repeat this 5 to 10 times. This activates your body's relaxation response, lowering your heart rate and blood pressure. Exactly what you need to drift back to sleep when you wake up restless. Now, let's talk about something more physical but just as important: pain. Whether it's arthritis, back discomfort, or just general stiffness, Aches that barely bother you during the day can become impossible to ignore at night. That's because when we're still, we lose the distraction of movement, and our brains have nothing to focus on except those nagging signals from our bodies. If this sounds familiar, small adjustments to your sleep position can help. For joint pain, try placing a pillow under or between your knees to take pressure off your hips and spine. If acid reflux wakes you up, elevating the head of your bed just a few inches, or using an extra pillow, can make a difference. And here's a tip many don't think about. Your mattress might be working against you. Most mattresses last 7 to 10 years. If yours is older, it could be sagging in ways that strain your body without you realizing it. You don't necessarily need an expensive new one, but a supportive mattress topper can be a game changer. Finally, let's address the elephant in the room: bathroom trips. Waking up to use the restroom once might be normal, but if you're up multiple times a night, it's worth looking into. As we age, our bodies produce less of the hormone that helps concentrate urine overnight, leading to more frequent urges. But before you resign yourself to this cycle, try two things. First, limit fluids 2 hours before bed, but stay well hydrated earlier in the day. Second, cut back on caffeine and alcohol in the evening. Both are diuretics that can disrupt your system. If this doesn't help, a quick chat with your doctor might uncover simple solutions, like adjusting medication timing or ruling out other causes. Now, if you're feeling overwhelmed by all these suggestions, here's the most important thing to remember: you don't have to do everything at once. Pick one change that feels manageable, whether it's dimming lights earlier, trying the breathing technique, or adjusting your pillow setup, and start there. Small steps add up. Because here's the truth: waking up at 3 a.m. isn't an inevitable part of aging. It's your body's way of telling you something's out of balance, and now you have the tools to listen and respond. So tonight, when you tuck yourself in, know that better sleep isn't just possible, it's within reach. And if you found this helpful, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's one tip you're excited to try? Your experiences might inspire others in our community. Don't forget to like this video if it gave you some aha moments, and subscribe for more ways to live your healthiest, happiest life after 60. After all, every new day and every good night's sleep is a gift. Here's to waking up refreshed and ready to enjoy them all. Sweet dreams.